Hey, so at the beginning of March, Rust rolled out a new update where they added a whole bunch of new things, particularly the new graphics settings. Woo! Exciting, am I right? Anyone? So anyways, here's my first video, guys, a best Rust settings guide. So I'm not just going to give you the new best settings for 2025 Rust, I'll also do some quick overviews of those settings, plus I'm going to show some other optimizations you can do in Windows as well. So stick around for that, and enjoy. Alright, so I'm just going to try and go over quick overviews of the settings here. Not going to take too long on them, but yeah, first things first, nudity set to underwear, make sure max.gibs and creation effects are off. Make sure head bob and hurt flash are off if they're not already. User interface, only thing of significance in here is inventory pointer model. So if you actually set that to off, it's like performance boost. Only negative is you can't see your character model, so you can't see the clothes you're wearing. That's why I prefer to have it on. But I mean, if you're in UCAN or something, you can put it to off because, well, you don't really need it. You might as well just take the little performance boost, right? If you're low end, I'd actually consider doing this. So just test it. Gestures, audio controls, those don't matter at all. Resolution, make sure that's just set to your desktop resolution. So if you're playing stretch res, set that to your stretch res. Mode, full screen VSync, definitely want to have it off. For FPS limit, generally what I recommend is just cap it to your monitor's refresh rate. So if you got 240 Hz, you'd set it to 240. And the reason I say that is because it actually provide smoother frame times. Go to graphics here. So for NVIDIA DLSS, just want to clarify something real quick. See a lot of guys putting their setting to max performance, balance, or ultra performance. Don't do this. It's just gonna make your game real blurry, and also just reduces performance. It's not a good performance option. A lot of people think this will give you like 20 more FPS. It actually just takes off 20 FPS. Okay, so just keep it off. NVIDIA DLAA, put that off as well. For global render distance, don't put anything higher than 700 or 800. It's a really good range. Anything lower than that, you're really gonna just if you're flying in a mini, bases are gonna start loading in like just as you're flying right over it. Yeah, don't wanna have it so low, because those bases have SAM sites, you're gonna get shot down. Shader level lowest, draw distance, put on 1000. You don't need anything higher than that. It's a good value where we're at right now. All this just lowest. NVIDIA reflex mode on plus boost. This is going to cut your latency in like half. All right, it's really good. Grass's placement, I skipped over that one. But for this one, yeah, slight performance boost if it's off. It's really good to have on though, because if there's items on the ground, a lot more visible because it's not masked by the grass. But once again, if you're playing you can just set it to off because, well, you don't really need it. Might as well just take the extra frames once again. Rest of these is off, lowest. LED BIOS, put that to 1. Anything lower than that, you're gonna start seeing visual glitches and bugs. So some people are experiencing like their head in front of them as if they were like third-person view. Real weird stuff. So to avoid that, put on 1. Anything higher than that, you're gonna see less FPS. Texture bitmaps, the same thing as the old graphics. So like it was 1 through 6, low to max quality, or potato max quality. Same thing here, is just separated into 4 instead of 6 this time. So just want to clarify something real quick. So many think if you put your quality to max, it'll take less strain off the CPU and offload that onto the GPU. So it allows the CPU to perform more, right? Since Rust is a CPU dependent game, you'll get more performance that way. That's completely wrong. Do not do that. The GPU and the CPU are responsible for separate tasks, okay? So the GPU obviously for graphics, you know, like your shadow and your lights. Your CPU, it's more for like game physics, calculations, you know, like game mechanics, all such that sorts of stuff. So yeah, they handle different tasks. So the only thing you're doing by increasing the quality is just putting more strain on your GPU, which is going to result in less performance. So 8th resolution, definitely want to go with that. It's going to give you the most performance, although it makes the textures a bit blurry. So if you want to maintain a good balance between quality and performance, I recommend going with quarter resolution. But since, you know, this game isn't really GPU dependent, it's more CPU dependent. Increasing graphics quality isn't really going to give you a huge performance hit. So you got a high-end GPU, you could go with half resolution, you can go with full resolution. You know, it's up to you. Just test it if it's worth it for you. Rest of these just off the lowest. Shadow quality, slight performance boost if it's on 0. Although it's good to have it on 1 because you're in a forest or around trees, the shadows emitting from those objects, they're flickering, they're flashing. It's really distracting your eyes, so I like to set it on 1 to smoothen out those shadows and make it just a little bit better. I mean, it helps me focus a little bit better. So, shadow mask mode, put the shadow mask resolution low, cascades none. Rest of these, put it to 0. All of these, put it to 0 except object quality and tree quality. You only want to half those. Don't listen to that guy. Scratch what I just said. Put your object quality 0, straight 0. I mean it. There is no downside or competitive disadvantage to having it set to completely 0. And for tree quality, set it to 123. It's the best balance between visibility and performance with no real gain going any higher. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I basically found the sweet spot where visibility is clear enough to spot other players, but you're not wasting frames on rendering trees in full quality when it doesn't matter anymore. That's all. Now back to the video. I know most of you probably already know this, but I thought I'd include it anyways for the few who don't. You set your object quality to 0, these gaps in the small oil rig actually become visible, and you're able to shoot through them. And this only works in small oil rig, so don't try it on large. Image effects, anti-aliasing, I don't recommend this. I think the only good option here is TSSA, but the rest of those, they just make your game blurry, and honestly I just don't recommend it. All of these rest off, sharpen, up to you. Experimental, occlusion culling, put this to on. If you do experience like a little frame drops like it says, you put it back to off. Contact shadow, sustain pedal support, put these two off. Automatic processor affinity, put that to on. Optimize loading, set this to partial, especially if an SSD is going to make you loading way faster than the servers if you didn't have that on already. Okay, last pause, I swear. So I am going to do a bit of explaining here in a second. So here's the timestamp on screen right now to skip that. But I am adding something on the bottom to help you guys get through it anyways. Back to it then. So GC buffer, this setting is widely misunderstood. I see lots of people just setting to max and calling it a day. I even see YouTubers propagating this in their best settings guide. Like Kano actually told his audience to set it to max in his latest video. And this is wrong, and I'll tell you why right now. The GC here stands for garbage collection because it is clearing temporarily stored cache data. It's basically collecting garbage, right? So when you change GC buffer, you're essentially telling it when to clear that temporary data. So if you set it to max, it'll clear when the stored data reaches that capacity. When it does clear, it causes a lag spike, however. So setting it higher makes this occur less frequently, which is a great thing because you don't want it to happen during an important fight or maybe during a raid or something, right? So, however though, Rust, as you may know, is a memory eating machine. So if you don't have the memory to spare, and let's say you only have like 16 gigabytes for example, with garbage collect already delaying cleanup, there will be more pressure put on your memory as it nears its limit, resulting in less FPS and stutters. So you need to balance it, you need to set it lower. This will give you more consistent, smoother frames and way less harsher lag spikes. On the other hand, say you have 96 gigs of RAM. Since you have lots of memory to spare, the game can hold on to a massive amount of temporary data before GC even needs to run, right? So it would clear a lot less frequently and it will be barely noticeable as your system won't be under memory pressure. Basically, the value you want to set GC buffer that is the most optimal for you scales of how much memory you have. So long story short, the more memory you have, the bigger you can set GC buffer. And thankfully, I have a good guide that makes this super easy, provided by Kakui. He's a friend of mine, and he owns a Discord server for Rust optimization where he shares tons of his own guides for FPS, audio EQ, binds, launch options. You get the point, it's pretty cool. So check him out, his link is in the description, onto the guide. Alright, so let's get started. If you have 16 gigs of... Wait, where the hell is my board? Alright, so let's start the guide, shall we? First things first, 16 gigs. If you have 60 gigs, you will set your GC buffer to 512. And if you don't know how much memory you have, here's how to check. Alright, go to your taskbar, right click it, go to Task Manager, in the Performance tab, make sure you're on the memory graph, and boom, top right. That's how much memory you have. Alright, and for the rest, for my 32 gig friends out there, you'll set your GC buffer to 1024, 48 gigs will equal 2048, 64 gigs will equal 3072, and if you have anything above that, set it to max. And boom, those are the Rust settings complete. Now on to Windows optimizations. Alright, now I know I said Windows optimizations, but we're starting with some Steam settings first. So in the upper left corner, click on the Steam tab, go to settings, go to the friends and chat tab, and here you just want to disable animated avatars. And then next, go to library. Here you want to enable these three: low bandwidth mode, low performance mode, and disable community content. And you want to disable show game icon left column. That's over the Steam settings. Now we're going to share some launch options. So go to your library, right click your Rust, go to properties. You want to disable Steam overlay if you don't use it. It's a slight performance boost if you do. And as for launch options, I'm going to actually categorize this in two different sections real quick. We got our useful and our useless launch options. Starting with our useful, we got headlerp 1000. This just makes your Outlook stop back faster. Nolog, this disables logging for Rust if there is any. Graphics.branding 0, this removes some little numbers under your hotbar if you ever notice that, and you might already have it disabled in the in-game settings, but it could be a slight performance boost. Decal.limit 0, so depending on the value of this command, that's how many bullet impact decals will actually show at a time. Since the default is 256, that's the max amount of decals you'll see, but if you set it to 0, there will be 0 impact decals every time. This means you could see slightly more performance during fights since there's less impact decals being rendered. But I just realized after doing all that editing that setting to 0 will also remove the X marks on trees, so set decal.limit to 20 instead of 0. Player.eye blinking 0 and player.eye movement 0, all this does is disable the blinking and movement of other players' eyes. Might be a little stretch here, but overlying concept is that Rust is pretty unoptimized and you gotta take what you can get, so less is more, and that goes for the same with legs.enablelegs 0. All this does is just disable your legs, so same concept, less is more. As for useless launch options, we got 5 really common ones, and really quick, the reason I'm covering this is because I see a lot of people use these launch options, and frankly, they don't even do anything, some even hinder performance. So, for our first one, we have Effects.maxgibs -1. But it removes building debris! And you're right, it does. It also removes the debris from barrels too, so why is it useless? It's useless in the form of a launch option, but useful as a command. That's because it's bugged. When you have it as a launch option, it will set max skibs to 1 instead of -1. So the workaround for this is just binding it to your map, since you'll be subconsciously applying the command without even having to think about it. Here's a bind on screen now. I'll also leave it in the description for you guys to copy and paste in the F1 console. And here are the last of the useless launch options. We just went over Effects.maxgibs, so we can cross that out. Next we have graphics.wave0. This used to disable waves in the ocean, but doesn't work anymore. And for these next two, I decided to group them since they're commonly used together to disable fish, but you guessed it, they do not work anymore. Lastly, window mode exclusive. Wait, stop. Do not move. I want you to pause this video right now, open Steam, and please make sure this is not in your launch options. Because seriously, when I went to go test this, I had around 140 FPS, and after adding window mode exclusive to my launch options, it had dropped by 20 frames. And this was a standardized test too, by the way, so please do not use this. It'll reduce your FPS by 13 to 20%. So that concludes launch options. I know there's way more I could have gone over as well, but here's the quick summary. Yeah, that title screen was banging though. Anyways, Windows settings. So type in graphics settings, go to graphics. Here you're gonna see hardware accelerated GPU scheduling, otherwise known as HAGs. You're gonna make sure this is on. You'd know that if you followed me on Twitter, by the way. But anyways, for those who know their Rust directory or whatever game, you're gonna go here and browse and just add it. But for those who don't know their directory, you're gonna go to Steam, go make sure you're in library, go to Rust, right click it, go to properties. Go to installed files, click on browse, and this is going to pop you up with a file path for Rust. And you're just going to copy that, Control C, close this, close that, close Steam. Then back here, you're going to come to browse, and then come up to the directory, paste it in, Control V, hit enter, and then make sure it's Rust client.exe you're highlighted on, select it. Whoa, slow your horses. Before we add it, right click Rust client.exe, click on properties, and head on over to the compatibility tab, then click on change settings for all users. You may find surprising what's about to come next, but make sure everything here is unchecked, and everything inside of here is also unchecked. There will be a lot of people that tell you to check disabled full screen optimizations.
Click on the disable full screen optimizations, check that one on.
And I'm just here to tell you that's wrong. Why is it wrong? That's why it's wrong. 1% lows are worse, and so is average FPS. Disabling this one setting will warrant you a 5% increase in 1% lows, and that's insane. 1% lows are basically the frames that you feel, very different to average FPS. The higher 1% lows are, the smoother your game will feel. And despite the numbers, I've also just had lots of people tell me that checking disable FSO feels worse and unsmooth. Okay, you can add it now. Then click add. And go to options, add performance, save. Next, if you're on Windows 10, search for ease and click ease of access brightness setting. However, for Windows 11 users, because you're special, search for visual effects. This is going to be the same for both Windows 10 and 11. Disable show animations and show transparency. Next, search for mouse settings and click on additional mouse options and make sure enhanced pointer precision is unchecked. Ironically, this will make your mouse movement less accurate if checked because it will now account for the speed you move your mouse, not just the distance. Basically, it enables mouse acceleration, which is a big no-no for FPS games. So you have that checked, it's a legitimate excuse as to why you probably miss half your shots. Next, search for core isolation, then all you want to do is Yo, don't panic. If you're prompted with page not available, that just means it's already disabled because you have virtualization. Don't panic. If you're prompted with page not available, that just means it's already disabled because virtualization is turned off in the BIOS. So you're good. And for the rest of you, go ahead and disable it. Core isolation is an additional security feature for Windows, but disabling it won't turn off Windows Defender. It's sort of like an extra layer of security. But it's a good performance boost if you do decide to disable it, as it'll free up CPU usage and leave more processing power to your game. Now let's crank out the rest of these settings. Shall we? Okay, search for performance, click on adjust the appearance and performance of Windows, select adjust for best performance and check these three options. Then search for storage settings, disable it, search for game bar, disable it, search for game mode and enable it, and next, search for a job button. I'm just kidding, but we do have a few more things. So search for startup apps and disable everything here. This will stop apps from launching at startup, freeing up CPU cycles. As a result, your system will dedicate more power to your game as fewer resources are being diverted to background processes. Essentially, less focus on background stuff, more priority on your game. So kill everything in here. Wait, what? Next, open up your Discord, head over to the user settings, scroll down and enter the game overlay menu. Then disable these two options. Obviously this will disable Discord's game overlay, and I know some of you really like to use it, but it's also a really big hit on your performance. Next, we got NVIDIA control panel. Sorry Radeon users. First things first, go into adjust the image settings of preview, and you don't need to set this option on performance since we'll be using 3D image settings option anyways. So after you set that, go into advanced 3D settings and just pause the video to copy these settings. I'm not going to do an explanation for each setting as there are already tons of videos that cover that anyways, but essentially it's just disabling some quality and power saving features. And this next one is for 4090 users only, so you should see a menu called ECC State. Go in there and just uncheck the box as having it checked to slow down your VRAM. Next, go into change resolution, and please make sure your resolution is set from the PC section and not the one meant for TVs. This will allow you to choose the highest refresh rate available for your monitor. Lastly, go and adjust desktop size and position, and you'll want to do this for all your monitors, but set the scaling to full screen. And performing the scaling on display will reduce your latency, but choosing GPU will increase FPS, so it's up to you what you value more, but personally, I like FPS. Okay, the final stretch. Just 2 more performance tweaks left. Let's go. First, we'll quickly need to download a file pack. Step 1, join my Discord server. Link in the description. Step 2, click on the free tweaks channel and download the .zip. This next step is important, so pay close attention. Next, right-click the file and hit Extract All. Then here in the file path, type in C:\\. This will make it so the file extracts to your C drive. It's important the file path is exactly as shown here, otherwise the power plant will not import properly. And yes, it's a batch file, so don't even start commenting to rap because I will smack. smash you. But seriously, it's all open source, so you can just right click it and click edit to see all the code. You can also run it through ChatGPT or whatever you'd like to verify it. But before you run it, let's create a restore point first. Go into search bar, type in restore and click on create a restore point. Once here, select your C drive, click configure, and make sure your system protection is turned off. And for max usage, leave it at whatever's default for you or set it 10 gigabytes. Click apply and OK, click create and name it whatever you like, then create it. Okay, moving on. Right click the batch file and run as admin. It'll start up really quick and you'll be prompted with a start screen. Then just press any key to continue. You'll then be prompted with a menu. I've laid out the options nice and simple here for you guys, so straightforward and easy to use. All you need to do is enter the corresponding number of the tweak you want to run and hit enter. So I'll quickly run through it with you guys. First, I'm going to enter when to import the custom power plan. It'll automatically apply itself, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. But just to be safe, just double check that the selected power plan is called KhorvieTech. By the way, this power plan was created by Khorvie. Khorvie's a beast when it comes to this type of stuff. He's got loads of helpful videos on various PC optimizations, so his channel link will be in the description. And it's even better than the ultimate performance power plan, which a lot of you might already have. That's why I chose to feature his rather than recycle the same old stuff. But do you know what's even better? Games. It's my very own manual PC optimization service where I do everything from overclocks, registry tweaks, full system to bloating, and even secret Windows optimizations, and much more. So if this 20-minute video helped you, imagine what my 1 hour optimization will do. I mean, just check out how much FPS these lovely people got. Anyways, if you're interested, check the Discord for more details. Back to the video. After running the power plan section, you should have been taken back to the menu. So next, run the services tweak, and we'll do the same thing as before, but this time we'll enter 2 instead. This sets a bunch of Windows services to manual startup. Basically what that means is resource-hungry processes won't automatically launch when you boot your PC. They'll only run when they're actually needed. For example, say you open the Microsoft Store. Instead of those related services always running in the background just in case, they'll now only start up when you actually open the app. That way, they're not constantly eating up resources while you're gaming, whether it's Rust or anything else, or your system can stay focused on performance where it actually matters. Also, credits go to ChrisTitusTech for this one. This is his script from his PowerShell Windows utility. His channel will also be linked in the description below. And after you've run both tweaks, you are finally done. Now just give your PC the good old hoot and patoot and restart to apply them changes. Well guys, that's it. Hopefully I was an aid in helping your performance. Please like this video if it helped you or even made you laugh or thought it was entertaining. I really put a lot of work into it and try to make it as entertaining as it was for you guys. But anyways, subscribe for more optimization tutorials like this one. I already got some ideas lined up for the next video too that I know will help you guys out a bunch. And it definitely won't take as long as this one did. But that's all I got. Till next time guys, peace.